Hi, I'm Kat Burton, and today I'll be sharing some quick tips to help amateur photographers take great photos. One of the first things I usually get asked is what camera is the best one to use. And to be honest, whatever camera you have, whether it's a phone, a tablet, an older DSLR, or even one of the modern mirrorless cameras, the best camera for you to use will be the one you understand and that you have with you most often. Tripods are a really useful tool. It will slow you down and enable you to refine your composition and your camera settings. If you find your photographs are sometimes blurry, it could well be that your camera moved when you took the shot. In my workshops, I often find that when people start using a tripod, they see a dramatic improvement in the sharpness of their shots. If you're currently shooting with your camera on auto, try to use some of the custom settings. Experiment with aperture and shutter priority if you've not tried them before. These will let you prioritize one of the settings and are a really good starting point for getting off auto. If you're already comfortable with some of these settings, then give fully manual a try. There are three main settings in photography that you're going to want to experiment with when you're getting off automatic. The first one is shutter speed. Now, shutter speed relates to how fast the camera will take the photo. This setting should be your priority if you have a moving subject such as wildlife or pets. You could try using a longer shutter speed as well to create blur. This can work great for things like waterfalls and lochs if you want to smooth out the water. Another important setting is aperture. A wide aperture has a low number, so this could be a number like f2.8, f4, so the lowest number that your camera or lens will go to. A wide aperture is best used for things like portraits because this creates a very shallow depth of field and creates that lovely blurry effect behind your subject. If you choose a number such as f8, f11 or even higher, that will have a lot more detail in it from the foreground to the background. So it's great for big scenes and landscapes and showing lots of detail. The third setting that's important in exposure is your ISO. Now, ISO is basically the light sensitivity of the sensor within your camera. So sometimes what you might find is if you want to pick a certain aperture or shutter speed combination, you might find that the scene looks too dark, so you can increase your ISO to give you more light. What you'll find though is the higher your ISO, the more grainy and noisy your picture. So what you want to do is keep to the lowest possible ISO for the scene that you're shooting. Composition-wise, there are some really good guidelines. The rule of thirds divides the scene into 3 rows and 3 columns. When things are placed in any of those cross points between the lines, that can make for an interesting composition. It could also be interesting to put things in the middle as well. It creates a very balanced scene. Remember to keep your horizon straight. Try to keep what should be upright being upright so people don't feel a bit dizzy or off balance looking at your picture. Leading lines are a great way to draw people into your photographs. So if you can find a line in your scene, it will help pull people in. So think roads and pathways. Maybe it could be little blades of grass or branches that just point into your picture at the thing you want to look at. One of the best tips for improving your photography really is to look at what other photographers are doing. If you have a favourite photographer on Instagram, have a look at what they've done. Try and see if you can work out what shutter speed, what aperture they've used. Have they used the rule of thirds? What composition tricks like leading lines are they using? Some photographers, like myself, will share the details of their photographs, and that will help you choose what settings to use and help you learn from them. If you head to my blog at catburton.co.uk, you will see that I am sharing daily photos. These cover subjects from wildlife to landscapes, and I'm sharing my photography settings for each of these. So you'll see I've got the aperture, the shutter speed, the ISO, and even what camera and lens I've chosen. If you want to refer to them as a way to learn, by all means do, and if you have any questions, you're welcome to contact me anytime. So please don't be afraid to take lots of photos and experiment. The best photographers will have bad photos on their memory cards. We all make mistakes, but that's the best way to learn. If you look back at your photos in 6 months' time and think, oh, that's not a good photo, that's actually a good thing because it shows that you are growing and you are learning as a photographer. So go out there, have fun, play, practice, experiment, take as many photos as you can. And if you need any further tips or advice, you're welcome to contact me anytime via my website.